Namaskar. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we explore if function in Excel. If function in Excel is one of the logical function to return one value if a condition is true and another value if it's false. Basically, if function is used to compare and evaluate some result. For example, if we want to check whether a student has scored pass marks or not, whether a cricketer scored century or not, so in those cases, if functions can be used. The if function can be used to evaluate text and values. So this using if function, we can print any text value, means any comment, any sentence in comment form, and values means we can just print any number, also any rank, like that. Then evaluate errors. Using if function, we can also print error message and perform additional calculations. So using if function, we can do some calculations and the result of the calculation can be printed based on the condition of the if function. So we can also use some formula within if function. Let us see the syntax of if function. What is syntax? Syntax is the structure of if function, means how we write if function in Excel sheet so that the result will be evaluated properly without showing any error message. This is the syntax of if function. Any Excel function should be preceded with equal sign. So the most important thing we have to remember whenever we are using any function or formula in Excel to do some calculation and get some result, the first thing we have to mention or type equal sign. Then we type the formula or Excel function. In case of Excel function, after typing the name of the Excel function, we use parenthesis, and within the parenthesis, we mention the parameters. For each function, there are three parameters. The first parameter, which is named as logical test, in this place, we place the condition which is to be evaluated as either true or false. For example, a student's marks, we are checking whether it is beyond 40 or less than 40. Accordingly, the student has passed or student is not promoted. So this part, the first parameter is for condition checking. Then we place a comma. Next parameter is value if true. So this part will be evaluated if the condition, that is the logical test, is true. So the value will be returned if the logical test evaluates to true. Then the last parameter, that means after second parameter we place a comma, and the last parameter is to be evaluated if the logical test is false. So this part, third part, will be written if the logical test evaluates to false. Then if we start with the round, since after if we have started with a round bracket, opening round bracket, so we have to close it. Let us see some example. The first example, which is the simplest one, the first example, what is written? Equal sign, which is must to be typed before any Excel function. Then we have mentioned if. And within parentheses, the arguments are, in the first place, it is typed that C2 equal to, within double quotation, yes. What does this means? Here C2 is not any word or any value. The C2 is actually mentioning the location of Excel sheet. So C2 is actually the cell reference or cell address. In that particular location, anything can be typed, yes, no, or any other thing. So if that particular content or value is equal to yes, if it is matches with this particular word yes, then what will happen? This is the condition. Then in the value part, what is typed? 1. So if this part matches, then 1 will be printed as a result. If other than yes, anything is typed in C2, the location C2, then 2 will be printed as result of this function. So let us try it in practical way. So in cell number A1, we place our cell pointer. So you just see the column A and row 1, the intersection of this particular cell we have activated with the cell pointer. And let us type that formula equal to if within bracket. And it is not case sensitive. You can write it in capital letter, small letter, does not matter. Now the logical test, and it was like C2 equal to within double quotation, yes. Then we have placed the comma because condition is over. And if this particular condition is true, then 1 will be the result of this if function, otherwise 2. And we close the bracket. So our function is typed properly. Now we press enter key to see the result. What we can see after typing the formula, we see in that particular place 2 is appearing. If we take the printout also, we get this value. We don't see the function. But if we want to see the function, then we have to activate that particular cell with the cell pointer. Means we place the cell pointer in this particular place, and the result will remain like that. But on the formula bar, if any formula is typed after activating that cell in the formula bar, we can see this particular formula is appearing. And what else we see when we are highlighting the formula, you see in this particular Excel sheet, one cell is highlighted with blue border. And if we just minutely see the cell location or cell address or cell reference, the cell reference of this place is C2. Why? This is the intersection of column C and row 2. Now let's understand the if function. See, in this particular cell C2 location, nothing is typed. So it is not matching with the word yes. That is why we saw the result 2 is appearing. Now let us type yes over here and press enter key. As soon as we see that as soon as the value is changed to yes, as per the condition of if function, it is matching with this word, yes, and 1 is coming. So here we see once the formula is typed, as per the value, the result will be evaluated by Excel on its own. No manual recalculation is required. So one simple example of if function is explained. I hope you all understood it. Next example, equal to if within parenthesis in the first parameter place the argument, the condition that is written in this way, A2 greater than symbol B2. So here A2 and B2 is not any word or number. These are cell reference, or in simple term you can say cell location or cell address of Excel sheet. But the the sophisticated word we use for the cell location or cell address is cell reference. So here the thing is that if the content of the cell reference A2 is greater or higher than the content of cell reference B2, then over budget will be the result. Means over budget will be printed. Otherwise, if A2, the content of the cell address A2 is less than or equal to the content of the cell address B2, then OK will be printed in place of the result of if function. Say in the A2 cell 100 is typed and in the cell B2 80 is typed, so 100 is greater than 80, then we get the result over budget. But in place of 80 in cell B2, if 200 is typed, then 100 greater than 200, that is false. So OK will be the result of this particular if function. So in these two cases, we have used only one condition. And one thing to be noted that in these functions, in some places we have used double quotations and in some places we have not used. So if we are mentioning any text value, means any word, any comment or sentence, we put it within double quotation. If it is a number or any cell address or cell reference, we don't need to put any double quotation. We should not put any double quotation. And here we have used only one condition in both the cases. Similarly, we can use some multiple conditions we see in the next part of our video. Let us do some calculations using if functions in this particular employee salary sheet. Here 20 employees records are entered. These are the field names or heading of that particular salary sheet, and after entering serial number, employee number, name, department designation, the components of salary has been mentioned like basic salary, then DNS allowance, house rent allowance, TFRs, say travel allowance, medical, provident fund, gross amount, net salary, and grade. Now we calculate travel allowance based on some condition. Let us do the calculation in this way. Let us think the problem in this way that if the basic salary of any employee is less than 60,000, then less than equal to 60,000, for example, then the travel allowance will be 6,000 for that employee. And if it is more than 60,000, the travel allowance by the company to that employee will be 5,000. So let us do that using if function. So we will be checking based on the basic salary. So let us do it for the first employee, Sohini Hajra, and we have placed the cell pointer in cell number I2, travel allowance of Sohini Hajra. So we start with equal sign if, bracket open, round bracket open. Now it's the time to type logical test, and the logical test, as per our problem, we check the basic salary amount of Sohini. That means it is in cell number F2. So we can type F2, or we just can click on this particular cell. It will come automatically F2, and we check whether it is less than equal to 60 or greater than 60 or not. So I have typed here less than equal to 60. You can also type in vice versa, and accordingly you have to place value if true and value if false value. So I have typed less than equal to 60,000. If this condition is true, so as we have mentioned, the employee is going to get the travel allowance 6,000. And if it is not true, that means if the basic salary is more than 60,000, then the employee is going to get 5,000 from the company, and value if false part is also done. So we close the bracket, we complete if function and press enter key and see the result. So here we get this is 5,000 because the basic amount of Sohini Hajra is 95,000, and we can see the formula over here. Now, similarly, we have to do for the next employee and so on, but we will not type the formula. We copy the formula. How we copy the formula? We click on this particular cell where we have typed the formula for the first employee, and this formula we are going to copy for all the employees. How to copy the formula? You click on the cell, bottom right corner. If you place your mouse button, then you find, see your mouse pointer, this thick bold plus will be changed to black thin plus. When the pointer changes to this shape, then using left mouse button, just drag it. You can just double click also. I am dragging till the end, and the result is appearing correctly. And we can see the next employee's travel allowance is 6,000 because the basic amount of the second employee, Urshad, is 55,000, which is less than 60,000. And here the value is coming, but in formula bar, we can also see the, as we have copied the formula, this particular value F2 has been changed to F3. It is for the second employee only. So this style of writing the cell address or cell reference is relative cell referencing. There are different types of cell referencing: relative cell referencing, absolute cell referencing, mixed cell referencing. We shall discuss in another video about cell referencing. So in this way, we have copied the formula. Now let us do some more calculations using if functions. Let us take up another problem. We type here grade A employee, A graded employee or B graded employee or grade C employee based on the salary amount. Suppose the salary of any employee is more than 1 lakh. Then we place that employee as A graded employee. If the salary is less than 1 lakh but more than 80,000, then that employee comes under grade B. And below 80,000, say grade C. So how to do that? So let's do for the first employee, then we copy the formula. We place our cell pointer here. We start with equal sign if, bracket open. Then we write the logical test, means the condition. So this time we are checking the net salary, not the basic salary. So Sohini Hazra's net salary is in the cell number M2. We can type it or we just click on this cell, it will appear. Then we type greater than equal to 1 lakh. Then if this condition is true, then the result will be grade A, since grade A to be printed as a comment or as a message. So we have to put it within double quotation, but cell reference and the numbers we have not enclosed within double quotation. So for this logical test, the value if true part is done. Now, in the value if false part, if the salary is greater than 1 lakh, we know those employees are falling under grade A. But if they are less than 1 lakh, but within less than, if they are more than 8 lakhs, sorry, if less than 1 lakh, but more than 80,000, net salary is more than 80,000, but less than 1 lakh, then we put the employee under grade B. Otherwise, if it is less than 80,000, then those employees are falling under grade C. So here, since we have to mention in value if false for less than 1 lakh, we just cannot write grade B and grade C. We again have to check. So we have to again use some formula to evaluate whether grade B or grade C or not. So we are using if function in another if function. So this particular structure of writing formula using if inside another if, that we call nested if. So after writing if function, we open the round bracket, and in logical test part, again we check that net salary, that is M2, is greater than equal to 80,000 or not. And then we place the comma because logical test we have already typed here. Now, here we are not mentioning less than 1 lakh because we know for greater than this is happening. If it is less, then only this part will be evaluated. So here less than 1 lakh, if we do not mention, then also correctly it will be evaluated. So we are not mentioning it because if we mention, then the length of the if function will be higher. Now in value if false, we'll be typing grade B. So here for greater than 80,000 and obviously below 1 lakh, okay, grade B will be evaluated or printed after evaluating this part actually. And otherwise, for this particular logical test for condition, if this is the value if true, the next part in the value if false, grade C will be printed because this option is only left, and for less than 80,000 we already said that we put the employees under grade C as per our problem statement. So here we close the bracket of the first if function. This is completely done, and this is the part of the first if function, and that's the part of value if false part. for this if function, if this is the condition, this is value if true, where grade A just to be printed, but in value if false, some calculations to be done. And again, based on the calculations, the comment grade B or grade C will be printed. So since we have opened the round bracket of first if function here, we have to close it, end it, and then we press enter to see the result. So we can see for the first employee, because the net salary is more than 1 lakh, grade A is coming. And if we copy the formula by bringing our mouse pointer on the bottom right corner and see this symbol thin black plus and drag it till end, we get the result accordingly. So next employee is grade C, then it is more than 80,000 but less than 1 lakh, grade B. So accordingly the result is coming, and this is the formula. So this if under if, as we said, this type of particular structure we called nested if. So here we have used only one if inside another if. It could be that there could be multiple if inside one if function. And to evaluate the grades of any marks tabulation sheet, we may need more than one if. So the nested if function may be quite lengthier. Now we evaluate if function with some multiple condition. That is the last example in this video. Let us try. Let us now evaluate this problem. Let us read the problem. The marks percentage of 5 students in semester 1 and 2 are mentioned below in this table 1. So here already one table is given and 5 students' name is mentioned, semester 1 percentage, semester 2 percentage, and their marks are printed over here. Calculate the hours achieved by them based on the following criteria. What is the hour? There are 3 criteria given. Let us read one by one. The first condition: use the following criteria to calculate the hour achieved. The first one is if the same one or same two percentages are greater than 80, then they receive a 10% reduction of tuition fee. Second condition is if either of them is greater than 60, then they receive a 5% reduction of tuition fee. So in the first condition, it is saying that if both the semester's marks are more than 80, then they get 10% reduction in their tuition fee. So both the conditions has to be satisfied. So here we may have to mention two conditions. So that means multiple conditions, more than one. So this could be 2, 3, 4. The structure will be same for all. So here we have taken only two conditions, semester 1 marks and semester 2 marks. If both the conditions are true, then only they get 10% reductions, otherwise no. So when there are two conditions and two condition has to be true to get the true value, then we attach both the conditions or multiple conditions using a logical operator called AND. And if we write multiple conditions and that particular condition will be evaluated to true if any of them will be true. Like for the second part, let us read if either of them is greater than 60, then they receive 5% reduction of tuition fee. What does it mean? That either same 1 marks or same 2 marks greater than 60, may not be both are greater than 60, any one of them is true, then they only get 5% reduction. If they get more than 60% in both the semesters also, but less than 80%, they will obviously get 5% reduction. But not only that, if in any semester, if they get 60%, like this one, more than 60%, but this one less than, this student also get 5% reduction. Otherwise, they will not get any reduction. So let us try to evaluate the result. So let us do it for Shina and then we copy the formula. So let us start with equal sign if, then we type first bracket, round bracket. Then in the logical test place, we have to mention that semester 1 marks greater than equal to 80 and semester 2 marks greater than equal to 80. That means two conditions. And since both the condition has to be true to get the result true, so we attach both the condition using AND logical operator. So since this is also an Excel function, so after mentioning the Excel function, the parameters to be typed within parentheses means round bracket. So we have opened the bracket, okay, and we can also close the bracket, but within the bracket we have to write the conditions. What are the conditions? That means the semester 1 marks of Shina, that is in D14. We do not type, we just click on this particular cell, it will appear greater than equal to 80, and then we put comma because we have to write another condition. So in this way we can type by placing comma 3 conditions, 4 conditions, and like that. So this particular cell greater than equal to 80. If this is the condition, so the whole condition is written in this way because here we are mentioning more than one condition. Then after this bracket, we put up place that comma. Logical test is done. Value if true is what? 10% concession they are getting. 10%. So for particular this condition, this will be evaluated if this condition is true, obviously. But if it is not true, then we have to check whether the student is scoring more than 60% in any of the semester or not. Because if it is not this case, then they may get 5% reduction if in any of the semester they get 60% marks. Otherwise, they don't get any concession. So for that, again, we have to write if, and then within parentheses, this time we attach both the condition with or, because both the condition need not to be satisfied, either the first condition or the second condition. So this is greater than equal to 60, comma, this is greater than equal to 60. So any one of both the semesters, if the value is 60, then we have to close the bracket of or also. This is the whole structure. So you have to follow the syntax. Then if this particular condition returns true, then 5% concession, concession. Otherwise, 10% also you have done, 5% also done, and what is left? That is the no concession, no concession. And first we close the inner if bracket, because you see this if function, this is the logical test for this. If this condition evaluates true, this part will be printed, otherwise this part, and that this whole part is a value if false part of the first condition. So the bracket we have opened at the beginning, after it, that has to be closed at the end, and we press enter key and we get the result 5% concession in the tuition fee. Why? Because it can be visible. Okay, in one semester the student got 30%. Here we can see no concession, here also 5%, but in the final case both more than 80% in both, so 10%. So with this, friends, we end today's YouTube video, and we meet in the next YouTube video with some other Excel examples and features. Thank you so much for watching.